Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the month again. Clockwork Empires, as being developed by Gaslamp Games, has released a new release. They're up to Alpha 48 into the stable branch. That's been distributed through Steam, as usual. And there's a bandit raid in progress. So, this is my current colony in Alpha 48. It looks like this after... it's been about a few hours of play. I would say maybe 3 or 4 hours. I haven't been watching the time exactly. Oh look, fishermen attacking too. I'm sure we'll be fine. Yeah. So the colony is, at this point, I'd say maybe mid-game, close to mid-late game. Most of the stuff has been developed. I haven't researched many new things. Oh, and beetles. Beetles are all... Okay, we'll be fine. My military can handle the fisherman bandit beetle attack. I'm sure. 3 new immigrants. Yes. So, as always, episode 1 of my series here will be the new stuff. Stuff that's been added or fixed since the last stable branch. And then the next couple of subsequent episodes after this, I'm just going to play through getting the colony started, so players can get a sense of the pace of the game, or how smoothly the systems work now. And I think there have been a couple of changes that will be relevant to basically the feel of the game. And I guess I'll say this now. When I start my actual playthrough next episode, if you want to have your name included as one of the colonists, leave me a message. Just stick it in the comments somewhere and I will insert you in there. I lost the list I had of everyone else's names prior, so if you want to be in the colony, just drop me a note. Right, so let's take a look at the new stuff. So, Alpha 48, major changes. One that is... Someone wanted permission to research a genealogy, that's fine. They might discover something horrible, or they might make friends. They might discover their cousins with someone else. Yes, one of the big major changes was the refinement of the building creator. So prior to Alpha 47D or something, the last experimental release, the building creator and module placer were a bit hacky. They kind of functioned, but they tended to be buggy. And what I can show you now, for instance, let's put some modules in the laboratory here. I would like... Yeah, actually that's the wrong section. Oh, and you'll notice it's possible now to place all sorts of fancy new machines. They don't do anything yet. I mean, the art assets are in there. They're actually they're not super expensive. They're super cheap because they're not functional. Whatever. I'm going to put a power lathe in the laboratory and it costs 1 plank. So as I move this around, this might make the lab a little bit difficult to navigate. You'll notice it might be a little bit difficult to see, but if you pay really close attention, modules are now centered on the face of a square rather than the hex of the vertex of a square, which makes placing a module much more logical and tends not to slide off in a weird direction. So if you want to be able to place your modules exactly, this is the update you've been waiting for. And that was actually a widely requested sort of quality of life thing. It makes module placement feel a lot better, so I'm happy about that. Oh, some research to genealogy. I missed clicking the alert. I'll just assume everything was fine. Yeah, so that's the module placer. Also, there's some crashes and bugs that were associated with the building creator that have all been fixed. I think they've all been fixed. It certainly had some going over. So it works better, and it tends not to crash your game as often. Okay, another change we've seen is to the happiness system as it relates to the work shift system. So, here's my happy redcoats. They visit the barber a lot because they get wounded a lot. If we look at, say, Elsa Shoreside work crew, we can see the shifts in which she is active and the shifts in which she is inactive. Prior to this revision, the way you designated work shifts was that you would click each button to say you're active now, but you're not active this other time, and highlighting a button would determine the length of their work shift. You can give them longer or shorter shifts. One issue with that, well, that was fine as well as that was fine as far as it went. However, an associated system, the happiness system, used to determine how efficiently they would do their job, or being happy would affect their personalities, which again is a fine system, but it didn't have a lot of player feedback. And the only way someone would notice someone was unhappy is if you notice them doing the angry stomp walk. Basically, those two systems have now been tied together. The happier a colonist is, the longer a work shift they will be willing to perform. So if we look a little bit further down at Magnus Whistle's work crew, we can see even though he's supposed to be active for the first 6 shifts of the day, he's actually unwilling to work longer than 4 shifts a day. So the happier your colonist is, the longer a period during the day he will be willing to work. If he is unhappy for whatever reason, he will become dispirited and unwilling to work. The more unhappy he is, the shorter a period he is willing to work for. And even Magnus he's actually pretty happy, so I don't know what's up his butt. But there we go. So we can see different colonists have different amounts of time they're willing to work for. Lyle and Brazentar, what's wrong with you? So he's very angry, and he works very little. He works only 3 shifts a day, which is a bit of an issue because he is my town's only barber. Also, the overseer's happiness determines the amount of time or the duration that his associated work crew is willing to work as well. So because the barber is a grumpy ass, the barber shop is only open like the first 4 hours of the day or something. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 12. Yeah, okay. He's only willing to work the first third of the day. So that's how the happiness system now interfaces with the work shift system. I think it gives a better at-a-glance indication of the happiness of your different work crews, which the happiness system wasn't offering a lot of feedback to players prior to this change. So I think that's good. You can see my soldiers are kind of unhappy. They've been seeing a lot of fighting lately. And so on, right? Some people are very happy, some people are less happy. So this, it becomes more important to keep everyone happy. You can't just ignore people being grumpy all the time because it will directly affect the productivity of your colony. Okay, a new thing. Oh, look, the power lathe has been built. It's very pretty. So what I was saying about the modules, you can place a lot of the art for modules. They're not functional, but they're very cool looking. Look at this thing. A dynamo? I should have built one of these. I'll stick it in the barber shop. Nope, there's no room. I'll stick it in the naturalist's office. Nobody will mind. It won't fit. Well, unfortunately, there's not enough room. Okay, so there have been expansions to the lab system. So first of all, the lab cannot currently research artifacts and idols that you dig up out of the ground. That was removed while some of the new priority systems were in place. I expect it will be put back in the game at some point, but right now a scientist cannot research fishy idols the way he used to. The function of the laboratory is to perform research. So much like the foreign office updates from the previous stable build, now your scientist, by working in a lab, accumulates research points. And you spend these research points in various areas. Right now, the only two are agriculture and mining and metallurgy. Metallurgy. Where do you put the stress on the word? Metallurgy, yes. And at periodic intervals, regular intervals, you'll spend those points to purchase upgrades. So we can see here I have 6 research points in the agricultural field, and when I have enough, I can purchase essentially their tech tree upgrades. This one, bamboo agriculture, allows me unlocks the crop bamboo for me to grow on my farms. These other two, they're functionally the same, but they've got amusing flavor text. both of them increase farm yields or farm efficiencies by 5%, and that's the autosave firing off. You'll get a random assortment of 3 every day, and or you can pay to reset them, much like the Foreign Office. That was actually in the agricultural research branch. Was actually in, if not the last stable branch, then certainly the experimental releases since then. The mining and metallurgy research track is new, however, and we can see here this one increases the yields of your mines by 5%. The flavor text says you've trained the little beetles to detect noxious gases and improve mineral surveying techniques. This one also increases mine yields by 5%. Again, improved research techniques, and I've got a bandit raid incoming. 4 bandits incoming. I'm sure we'll be fine. This one, however, the smelting optimization, a more optimal method of smelting ores. So it increases the productivity of the metalworks by 5%. So again, mining and metallurgy applies to mines and the metalworks. Yeah, so you can, as you research each area, you're able to apply what you learn through the power of science to the productivity of your colony. Now, the lab is a fairly late game structure in that it requires expensive components like copper plates and glass sheets, all of which require a significant infrastructure to construct. And I'm back. Yes, so the game locked up there for a second, and I have just restarted from the last autosave. What I discovered was that I was placing the dynamo incorrectly. It's actually an external module, so when this gets built, we'll be able to see what it looks like. Although, of course, again, functionally, it doesn't actually do anything. Also, I'm sure the people sleeping in this bunkhouse will love having a noisy electrical tower right outside their window. Yeah, back to the new stuff. So, the other big thing, we just discussed the science projects in the lab. The other big thing is the introduction of Doctrines to the chapel. So this is my chapel here. We can see Verteline Patersley, my vicar. If we click on the chapel now, we can see you can actively select the doctrine that your church will pursue. Also, it should be mentioned, chapels now require seating. As you can see, I have 3 seats here. The chapel quality will have an influence on the mood of your colonists, so I've made sure I provide it with plenty of windows. But the most important part are the doctrines here. So there are 4 of them: ecumenism, unreformed deism, muscularism, and mechanism. And each of these has a different passive effect on the attitude of your colonists. So ecumenism is, I believe its proper name is Clockworkian ecumenism, is it's the basic the neutral religion, and it tends to make people vaguely happier. It doesn't favor one faction or one group over another or one type of colonist the way the other 3 do. And it's just a good neutral one to have. If you have a specific aim for your colony, however, you might consider one of these other 3. So unreformed deism is it praises the virtue of physical suffering and the rational order of creation. And so the flavor text hints that this is highly favored by military camps, or I should say, judging by the icon, I would say brutish colonists who favor violence and hitting things with their fists, as well as your soldiers who will shoot things with their guns. It'll probably make your peace-loving colonists unhappy, but it will make your more violent colonists more happy. So the third sect is the muscular ecclesiasticists, and this promotes hard labor and acts of worship, but it tends to make people insane, or at least unhappy. Oh, suspicious goods. We're just going to not accept black market goods for now. Yeah, so those are the muscular ecclesiasticists. And the last faction are the predestinational mechanist sect. And their recitations assure diplomats, scientists, and the upper class. They assure them of their superiority to the dirty unwashed. And so you can probably guess which factions will favor it and which factions will not favor it. I have a very science-focused colony, so I might actually subscribe to mechanism, yeah, predestinational mechanists. Yes, so that will have an ongoing effect on the attitude of your colonists, particularly those who are spiritually inclined and come to visit the chapel all day and listen to the vicar and the laity preach. I believe my vicar is asleep under a chair and has missed an opportunity to give a confession. Yep, so those are the big new things in Alpha 48. Again, there have been a wide swath of smaller refinements, changes, bug fixes. One of the more significant ones is that food yields have been increased by 50%. Now, this is just on a test case or a test basis, but what it has meant practically is that food is no longer a limiting factor. So here's the thing. For those of us, or for obsessives like myself, who have been following development of this game for like 2 years, we know the ins and outs of the food system, and we know well enough how to juggle work crews and the best way to optimize fields and crop rotations and things. And we were able to, support a colony with the food production. For new players coming in, for whom they're not aware of all the intricacies of the systems, and perhaps maybe some of the objectives aren't clearly communicated to people. Basically, and those people tend to be the majority of players, right? I mean, the really obsessive, hardcore nugget of us who know the ins and outs, and we dive into the XML files and check out the stat numbers. We represent a very tiny proportion of the player base. Oh, immigrants. Oh, and I've exceeded 50 colonists, so I get a commemorative landmine. Here it comes now. Oh, look at this. I will talk about these bright red weapons in a second. Anyway, a lot of people were having trouble producing enough food to support their colony, and there were regularly lots of complaints from players that everyone is starving and I can't get anything done. So, on an experimental basis, the devs have increased food production by 50%. Food is much easier to produce now. It's easier, requires less labor to feed your entire colony, which in turn frees up more labor to go mining or foraging or to enlist in your military and stuff. If we look at where I am, for instance, I've got well over 100 food stockpiled. Like, not even in, like, I've got like 97 bags of wheat flour. The kitchen is going nonstop, just cooking everything. So food isn't a problem, right? I have 129 maize chowder here. And early indications seem to be that people find this balance better for the game. People don't want to have to worry about their colonists starving while they're trying to build up an economy, right? So maybe this will be the way to go. Or there will be further food balancing, perhaps. So that's a significant thing. If you're finding food to be a problem and making you not want to play, you might want to check out the new food balance. Okay, this bright red gun here. It's the same as before. These bright red guns are just items that have dropped on the ground but are not claimed by your colony. And this is so that basically things outside of a certain radius of your town are not designated your colony's property, so you don't get colonists wandering halfway across the map and dying to beetles and fishmen trying to pick up a cube of clay that somebody else dropped. They're just very bright red now, so you know they're definitely, you can see them, is my point. However, you can highlight them and claim them, because I want more guns. And now my colonists will grab them when they get a chance. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there has been generally more stuff as well. I haven't built a foreign office in this particular playthrough, but more events have been added to the foreign office. There have been more possible interactions with the trade office. The trade office functionality, I haven't come across it yet in Alpha 48, but in Alpha 47D, which was the last experimental revision prior to this one, there had been some tweaks to the trade system. And then random little things like NCOs now train militia faster. Like NCOs who are of higher skill can train up the soldiers, train up the militia beneath them into proper redcoats faster, and they also offer highly skilled NCOs also offer a damage bonus to the soldier crews. It's now possible to build steel in the metal works. Right, steel requires chalk, coal, iron. Now there's no point in making it because no modules require steel, but it's in there. And I suspect the fancier, higher-end modules, which have still not yet been implemented in the game, will eventually require steel. That's a lot of resources for one steel ingot, though. So steel is super expensive. Can we just take a minute to check out this awesome placement? So early in this colony's life, I had great difficulty. I only had one gun because I just picked the advanced starter kit, and I was suffering every time I got attacked by anything: fishmen, beetles, bandits. I desperately needed hematite. I was able to grow the colony, but I hit a wall when I needed to start making metal things. I desperately needed hematite. I did a lot of exploring, a lot of exploring. Eventually, I built the naturalist office, and I let the naturalist go off and explore and do his own thing, surveying mineral nodes, and he found me this node here, right? This hematite node, on which I built a mine, and this mine actually produces hematite, clay, and sand, which is awesome. Sand is sometimes a little difficult to find, and you need sand for glass bottles, but also glass panes, and you need glass panes for the laboratory and other high-end, like the macroscope and other high-end things, and some of the high-end windows. And so this is great, this mine. And then I also needed copper and sphalerite, and I found this location. My mineralogist discovered this place, which produces sphalerite and malachite and clay and sand. And, I mean, there's a rocky outcropping of sulfur and chalk nodes right here. Like, I am set. This is awesome. It's too bad I won't be playing this because I'm starting a new colony. But this is an awesome location. So, maybe we can just take a minute to appreciate the awesome mineral wealth of this colony. So that's pretty much where we are now with Alpha 48. Like always, bugs have been squashed. Things have been balanced. There are more where there were options. There are now more options. Right? There are more science projects. There are more foreign office things you can purchase. Crops have seen some balancing. And then, of course, the happiness system has been tied into the work shift system. Now, the game is a little bit unstable. You saw me crash just a little bit earlier there. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, autosave still works, so at most you'll lose 10 minutes of progress, possibly less. Yeah, so that's Alpha 48 in a nutshell. I think we're in a pretty good place. My name's Alfred. The game has been Clockwork Empires, under development by the good folks at Gaslamp Games. It's in early access. Things are being tweaked all the time. You can purchase the game through the Humble Store, through Steam, directly from Gaslamp Games, I believe. And from this point forward, I'm going to play a few episodes of a new colony. Again, if you want your name in there, leave me a comment. Otherwise, I hope this has been useful. This is the episode I hope everyone watches, just once a month. All the new stuff that comes out in a stable branch release. There you go. Go forth and harvest beetle meat. I will see you next episode.